Welcome, everyone. My name's John Brenneman. Joined today by Phyllis. I'm going to turn it over to Phyllis Wilson in just a second. She is the president of Military Women's Memorial, as I'm sure most of you already know. After Phyllis talks, I am going to go through everything about the ship and the cruise and everything we're going to do. And then at the end, we're going to open it up to Q&A. A lot of you have obviously already found it. If you don't see it, there's little icons at the bottom of your screen. If you don't see the Q&A one, click on the round circle with three dots. It says more, and then you'll see all the icons, and you just type your questions in there, and we will answer all of your questions. But Phyllis, take it away.
Hey everybody, we are so excited. I cannot believe we're like a month away from being on Paris to Normandy cruise. So excited to have you guys. This is our first foray doing something overseas. So let's see how it goes. You're our guinea pigs, and we really appreciate you having the trust in both what John is doing, what Uniworld does, and the Military Women's Memorial. So it's going to be it's trial and error. So be kind and generous with us. We're learning as I go as well. But we're really excited for this, and I just want to give it over to John. Just so you know, go ahead if you have a question, put it in the Q&A. I will be moderating those, and if it's applicable that I need to jump in before John gets to the end of it all, I will do so. Otherwise, we're going to let him run through this presentation, and I will then ask him the questions that you have posted in the Q&A box at that time. So yes, you all are muted. We can't unmute you. It's a webinar, and you will get the recordings of this later in a day or so, I guess. Right, John?
Should get it tonight, unless there's technical difficulties. But typically, yeah, we download it from Zoom and then we upload it to YouTube. So we'll send you a link to the YouTube channel. A lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about today, I'll include that in that email as well. So don't worry about furiously taking notes. If it's a screen that I say I'm going to share, then you know that you're going to get it in the email. Okay, so here is our cruise itinerary. Everyone hopefully have seen this already. Um, I'm going to start out. I just want to talk for those of you who've not been on a river cruise before. If you've been on an ocean cruise, it is different. I think I've said this in the webinars before. It is more like a floating hotel than it is going to be a cruise ship if you've cruised on the ocean before. So first thing is the ship actually docks right city center. Everywhere we go, the ship is right there, front and center. We are actually about a quarter mile away from the Eiffel Tower on the left bank. It's within walking distance. I don't know if I'd walk it. But to give you an idea, you're right, city center. Okay, so the first thing that's going to happen is when your flight lands, if you have the complimentary transfers from Uniworld, when your documents, which hopefully we'll send to you in a week or so, when you get your documents, it will have information on your arrival transfer of where and when to meet for that. So Uniworld does group transfers. So everybody submits their flight schedules and then they schedule buses. The buses are varying size depending on the number of people, but they will like tell you, meet here in Terminal 1 at this time. And then that you and the people that are on that transfer will go to the transfer and they'll take you to the ship. When you get to the ship, Uniworld folks will be out front to help with your luggage. Just walk right on the ship. You'll see me. I'm going to talk about that more in a minute, but I do have a desk in the lobby. So you will see me daily on your cruise. Anyway, you walk in, you register at the registration desk, sort of like a hotel. Rooms are going to be available. Typically, they say it around 3. A lot of times they're done sooner than that. But there's a bunch of people who are getting off that day. So excuse me, fighting a little bit of a cold. But if your room's not ready, once you walk on board, they have your luggage. It'll be tagged for your cabin. You can go back off the ship and walk around if you'd like. You can go up to the lounge. It is an open bar. So all of your drinks are included. So you can go up and have a glass of wine if you'd like and sit in the lounge. You can go up on the top deck, which is open. They have chairs up there and tents and whatever. If you were there before lunch, you're invited to go in and have lunch. And so pretty much as soon as you walk on the ship, your kind of cruise kind of starts. No waiting in the terminal for embarkation or anything like that. But the rooms are going to be set. Typically, what they'll do as the rooms start becoming available, if you're like up in the lounge, they'll come up and tell you your room's available. But a very, very simple process. Disembarkation is sort of the same. After breakfast, they're going to ask you to vacate your stateroom. But once once again, you take your bags, they'll have all the bags tagged. They actually have your large luggage that you put out the night before. But then you're welcome to stay on the ship until the time for your transfer to the airport. Um, Once again, while we're on board the ship, they're going to have everybody fill out a form for the return transfers, and then they are going to schedule the buses based upon, the people that what time you're flying is what time they're going to schedule you. A couple people have asked about riding together. Like we're with a group of people and their flight's at 10 and our flight's at 2 p.m., but we all want to ride the bus together. Any of those types of requests are easy to accommodate. We'll just make sure you come and get me and we'll talk to the cruise director and get those scheduled. So they'll actually schedule your return to the airport transfer while you're on the ship. Um, and once again, not only can you stay on the ship, you can get off the ship and do last minute souvenir shopping or whatever you'd like. So, you know, as I said, not like a cruise ship where, they get you up in the morning and they tell you you have to get off the ship. They tell you we need to clean your cabin because we got another couple that's going to be in it next week or this coming week, but you can stay on the ship. Once again, open bar, the food, the drinks, everything like that is included. So it is a very kind of more relaxed kind of pace. We just so one other thing I'm gonna just so no one's shocked. Since people can stay on the ship, when you go to lunch on that first day, there will probably be people still from the previous cruise. Definitely when you go to the lounge, there'll still be people there. So there is kind of this crossover of the sailings when we do it. But everyone in our group, everyone will have a lanyard with our names on it, so it's easy to identify the people in our group. We got a fairly sized group, almost 70 people. So if you're like me, it's going to be difficult to remember everybody's name. So those come in real handy. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about the itinerary is the ship, for the most part, sails during dinner, or actually people get on board and then an hour before dinner every night, there's kind of like a cocktail party. The cruise director will speak every evening. The sommelier will tell you about the wines that evening, and then there's dinner. So typically, about an hour before dinner, they'll pull up the gangplank, and we'll sail. So when you're having dinner, there's beautiful scenery outside. A lot of the ports are not far from each other. So let's say we sail at 5:30. If we get to the next city at 7:30, 8 o'clock, they will dock and you can walk on and off in that city as well. For example, we get to Rouen, and so after dinner, you can also walk on and off the ship as you would like. So it is literally a floating hotel. I mean, you can get on and off anytime you want, except obviously while the ship is moving. Okay, any questions about that? Go ahead and type them in the Q&A. Okay,
John,
the
let
ship.
me quickly ask. We have a couple of people that are going to be in Paris a day or two or three in advance of, and they wonder how early on the day that we're departing can they drop their luggage off at the ship the morning.
I will get on board around 8 a.m.
Okay, there's
So,
that.
and
And
and the
then,
only reason I get on at 8 a.m. is, the first flight, the earliest flights for the complimentary travels are flights that land at 6:30. So you can assume that if somebody lands at 6:30, by the time they meet and they get a transfer to the ship, they'll get there about 8 because I want to be there before any guests show up because I can't say when you board the ship, come and see me at my table if I'm not on the ship. So there isn't really a restriction. Um, an earliest time. The ship will be docked in Paris. So if you got to the ship at 6 a.m., let me know so I can meet you there. But once again, you just walk right on and check in. It's a very
okay,
kind of
Marianne, if that answers your question, great. Joy asks, she says, we're arriving 2 days early as part of the pre-cruise. cruise excursion extension, where will they be staying for those 2 days prior to the ship? And I do see that Lisa is on, she's making some posts in here as well. So Lisa, if you want to
Okay.
jump in and maybe type an answer in for some of these. And
Yeah.
lastly, the Masterpiece Collection upgrade at Mont Saint
Yeah.
Michel.
We're going to get into that.
She wonders if it replaces the excursion for that day or can they do both?
I
So
have
when you
several
get to
slides.
that,
I
we'll,
have several slides that I'm going to go through the excursion. So yeah, that was kind of the cruise, and I was going to talk about the ship next. But yeah, we'll get to that. Lisa, I want to say it's the Nebuchadnezzar or something like that. Somebody else asked that. I will make a note to include that in the email for those who are staying at the hotel. Okay. So here's our ship, our home for our week when we're doing Paris and Normandy. Most of you already seen this. You should see like red numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm just going to kind of go through. I put those there so you knew what I was talking about when I go. So one is basically, they do not show an image of it, but the top deck is open. If we have any smokers, there is a small smoking area in the back of this deck. But this is you can go up here anytime you'd like. They have tables and chairs and whatnot up there. It's just a great area to hang out in. I'm going to talk about weather in a minute, but the weather's supposed to be great. So on a nice day, it's great to go up there. It's nice at night as well. Just want to make sure everybody knew because if you've seen the deck plan, it isn't clear that that top deck is open. Okay, so number two is the back of deck four. There's a number of things here. The interesting thing about it is I shot a video, but it's too slow. But if you look at it, and I don't know if you can see it, this is where the fitness center is. There's a bar here, and then in the middle of the room it says swimming pool. The swimming pool actually goes up and down, if that makes sense. So you see like the dance floor area or the floor area of the bar, it actually lowers down and becomes steps into in a very small pool, but that's where the pool is. So during the day, it will be pool. In the evening, they will raise it as an alternative bar to it. We will have some of our events in this area. We'll close it down to the general public and have our meetings there. And then the front of the ship is the lounge. This is where really everything takes place. When you get on board the first night, there will be a safety drill in here. This is the area everybody meets before dinner, where the cruise director will talk about the plans for the next day. The sommelier will talk about the wines and those types of things. Okay, deck three is the main deck. So if you look at number four, that is the restaurant where we'll have all of our meals. It is buffet, lunch, and breakfast, menu in dinner. Oh, I should mention, I'm going to go back up. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so I missed it. In that bar area, number three, where the salon is, they do have a 24-hour coffee station there. And then down on deck five, they have one as well. That they kind of label it, looks like it's a little restaurant. Basically, what it is they're going to have juices, rolls, muffins, those types of things in the morning, and there's a coffee station there as well. So if you get up before breakfast and you want a little something to eat, you can go down there. There is a guest laundry. A lot of people always want to know about this. The laundry is free, and if you want to do laundry, you just go to the reception desk. They have soap. So you don't need to bring soap. So you just go to the reception desk and say, I want to do some laundry. They'll hand you a free box of soap, and then you can do your laundry there. As I said, the guest laundry is free. They do also have, like hotels have, where they have the actual, pressing, cleaning kind of service. It's done the same way. There's a bag in your closet. You put the clothes you want dry cleaned in there or laundered and folded or whatever it is, and there's a little tag. There is a price for that laundry service unless you're in a suite. The suites have that complimentary. So that's a quick overview of the ship. I mean, it is small, which is one of the great things about river cruising. So no matter where you are, you're never far from where you want to be. Phyllis, any questions on the layout of the ship? Okay.
nope.
I
They
did
seem good
zoom.
with that.
Okay, I did zoom in on deck three. So this is where the reception area is. This is where you'll most every day. This is the deck you're going to walk into. It'll be, the ship is just tied up along the river. So you just like walk on it like you would any other kind of vessel. Anyway, so the reception area, the blue square I added is that's where the cruise director's desk is. And so the cruise director pretty much handles all the shore excursions and those types of things, scheduling or rescheduling or whatever. The red square is where I will be sitting. So they have a desk in the lobby that I will be at. I am at this desk at breakfast, lunch, and before dinner. So I will see you at least 5 times a day because everyone walks past me to go into the restaurant. So I am there for one reason. The only reason I'm on this cruise is make sure is everybody has as much fun as possible. So if there's anything I can do to help you, feel free, come up and see me. Uniworld's going to say if you need anything, you go to the reception desk. Or you can go see the cruise director. You can do that as well, but I am there to help as I mentioned, if somebody has anything like with their departure transfers or anything like that, just come and see me. That's what I'm there for. I get lonely, so stop by and
John,
say,
there are a couple of questions. How many rooms are part of our group? Um, Marianne wanted to know what are the red dots again? What is on the map you had? And will gluten-free options be available for every meal?
okay. The red dots were just the numbers when I was talking about the top deck, deck four, deck three. They were just something I added. The red square is where my desk will be in the lobby. What was the next question? How many
Um,
people in our group? If I remember correctly, 68. Lisa can probably answer that. We sometimes get cancellations. I don't think we've had anybody cancel since everybody made final payment. So I think we were at 68 last count. And to give you an idea, the ship has 64 staterooms, so a maximum capacity of 128. Um, some of those rooms are going to be singles, so we will be about half the ship. So we will easily be the largest group that's on board. I don't even know if any other groups are going to be on board. And then was there one more after that?
gluten-free. Is that
Yeah,
dietary?
any okay, so when you pre-registered for the cruise, there was a tab where you put in medical needs, like, I need distilled water, I have a CPAP machine, or whatever those were. If you put it on that form, they will communicate that to the ship. But even if you put it on that form, let me know when you get on board. We'll want to make sure that some Uniworld's headquarters are in California, and sometimes the communication between California and Paris is not the best, but that's easy enough. Any kind of dietary uh, restrictions that you have, they can take care of.
Yeah,
Being
and
that,
there was somebody that also did ask about the distilled water for a CPAP.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah. As I
just those
said,
kind
when
of
you
things.
pre-registered, that they ask those questions, but even if you pre-registered, I would tell you, let's not trust somebody in California to send that email. So when you get on board, you'll have a cabin steward. If you're in a suite, you have a butler, so you can ask them to make sure
So
they have it.
everybody has a cabin steward. Those that have a suite have a
Yeah,
butler,
yeah.
but everybody has a special cabin
Everyone has
steward.
everyone has someone who you'll
Yeah,
meet. There's a card in the room. You can call them. It's like it'll say like, my name's Kathy. Although most of them are European names because most of them are, European, but it's like, my name's Kathy, and you can punch a button and call them like, I need more towels or, whatever it would be. The
everybody
beds do
needs the
separate or go
PPE.
together. So if you go in the room and they don't have them configured the way you want, just let them know they can move them apart. So yeah.
Right. And Lisa posted that the hotel that you'll be staying in on the front end is Hotel Napoleon at 40
Napoleon.
Avenue de Friedland in Paris. So we can make sure, I'm sure Lisa will follow up with everybody that has the I wish I could, but June 12th is a big
Yeah.
day, Military Women's Memorial, so I can't travel until the 13th. But yeah, Hotel Napoleon.
Excellent. Okay. They're going to give one of these to you when you get on board the ship. It's actually 4 pages So it goes into a lot more detail, but this is just a quick overview of the itinerary and the cruise. And we're at the point now where I'm going to talk about shore excursions. So on the featured excursions, and once again, this is one of the slides that I'm going to send to everybody. It's also going to be in your cruise documents, which they won't issue the documents until everybody fills out their pre-registration form. So we hopefully will get those 30 days out. We'll email everyone their documents. The documents will have basically have four things. One of them is going to be your confirmation. It is going to be what to know before you go, which is going to have a lot of information if you're interested in reading it, most of which I'm going over now. It's going to have this page right here, which is kind of the overview of the cruise. And then there's one other thing that comes with terms and conditions, which is their legal document that no one reads, but goes through all the things. So anyway, so this is our itinerary. Okay, so we're talking about excursions. It's important to note that on the featured excursions, with one exception, which I'm going to talk about, they have enough room for everybody to go on it. So you cannot pre-book these. You get on the ship and you'll let them know what you want to do on the ship. But if everybody wants to go on one excursion, for example, when you get down to day 5, which is where you go to the beaches, and you have the choices, of either the American beaches, the British beaches, or the Canadian beaches, because there's 3 different destinations. You can go to whichever one of those you want. I have escorted this cruise before. So just so you know, I've been on this exact ship, this exact sailing and everything like that. The last time I went, every single person on the ship went to the American beaches. So they have buses so they can accommodate everybody. So if you're looking at the featured excursions, with one exception, I'm going to get to in a second, you can go on any of these you want. You can go on all of them, a few of them. They're optional. You can see like the very first day, you have both a morning and an afternoon excursion. You can choose which one you want to go to. So here's how it works. The very first night, there's a lot going on. Everybody just boarded. Most people flew that day, or arrived in Paris that morning, rather. There's going to be the safety drill I mentioned and those kinds of things. And then the cruise director is going to talk, and she's going to talk about the excursions for day 2 only. So you will sign up on Monday night, or that, excuse me, I think it's Sunday night, that first night on board. You will sign up for the excursions that you want the next morning. And then day 2, that evening, she's going to go through all of the excursions for the remainder of the ship. They give you a piece of paper, you fill out what you want to do, and you turn it in. If you want to make changes, you just let them know. If there's any problem in changing it, come see me. I can get those changed. Okay. But there is one that has a limited number of people, and that's the Let's Go bike ride because they only have 20 bikes. Okay. And since I'm talking about bikes, I'm going to kind of expand on that a little bit. Every time the ship docks, they take the bikes out and put them, on the riverbank. And if you want to use a bike, you can use them anytime you want. So I know when I went on Uniworld, not escorting a group, I went on vacation. My daughter likes to bike ride, so we get up every morning and do a bike ride before dinner. By the way, if you like biking, biking on a river cruise is great because the paths run along the river and they are flat, no hills, because the river's flat, so the path's flat. So there's only 20 bikes. So if you want to go biking, what I'm asking people to do is let me know when you get on board that first day that you want to go biking, and I will get the list because they will have a list that you sign up if you want to do biking, and I will put your names on the list before she announces that evening. If you want to go biking, sign up now. So if you want to go, I'll make sure I sign you up before they open it up to the entire ship. As I said, there's only 20 bikes. That typically fills up. But anyway, all the other ones you can do whichever you want. They do have what they call Masterpiece Collection excursions. And I can put this in the email. But basically, what they are is there are excursions that are kind of an elevated experience. The one I always like to say is they have a couple that are like a motorcycle sidecar. So somebody's driving the motorcycle and you and a guest sit in a sidecar and you go sightseeing around the city. Obviously, there's a greater expense for that and there's limited availability. So you'll see, and I'm coming up next, there's a list. So I'm going to have a list with the prices for all of them. So try to kind of stay ahead of the questions I think that are coming. Um, uh, so what was I going to say? The Masterpiece excursions. Oh, I think somebody already kind of asked this. So it's important to note that the Masterpiece excursions, for the most part, take place at the same time as another excursion. So if you want to do like the monastery, you're going to miss the complimentary excursion. There are some that are the last evening in Paris that are nighttime activities that will not conflict, but most of them, when we look at the list, are going to be so like in Rouen, if you're going to do Mount Saint Michel, which by the way, people have done, people rave about it, but a lot of people say there are a lot of steps on this one. But as I said, when you're on board, the cruise director will talk about all of these in depth. So they will go through kind of everything on these. When I send the email out tonight, I will include a description of all of these so you can get an idea of what they are. Okay, so a lot of people have talked about booking them in advance, and just a couple of things about booking in advance. If you book in advance, it's US dollars. You have to pay at the time you book it. And once you get to within 5 days before departure, so obviously the entire time you're on the ship, if you cancel, there's no refund. So they're non-refundable. Since the money is collected in California, there is nothing I can do to help you get your money back. If you book on board, you can see the onboard prices in euros. And as a reminder, everyone in our group gets a $100 per person, or excuse me, a 100 euro per person onboard credit. And onboard credit is like spending money for onboard. If you book a Masterpiece Collection on board, you can apply your onboard credit to the purchase of the Masterpiece Collection. There are a few things that that money can be used for. There is a spa on board if you want like a massage. You can get some bottles of wine. They have what they call the Diamond Collection of alcohol. This is the high end, high end. We're not talking Johnny Walker Black or Johnny Walker Red. We're talking Johnny Walker Blue. So you can get Johnny Walker at the bar. If you want Johnny Walker Blue, there's a charge for it. I mentioned that there's the laundry that you pay for if it's not self-service. So if you book on board, you can use the shipboard credit towards the purchase of the shore excursions. If you purchase in advance, you actually call Uniworld. If you want to do this, we can get you the number. You call Uniworld, you book directly with Uniworld, give them your credit card information, but you cannot apply your onboard credit to pre-purchased Masterpiece collections. I would say that if you want to do one, let me know on board. Sort of like I did with the bike riding, we can get you signed up before they open it up to the entire ship to sign up. So I think there's a lot of advantages. If you book one on board and you cancel outside of 24 hours, you get your money back if you change your mind. If you cancel inside of 24 hours, let me know. A lot of times we can get them to waive that cancellation penalty. So any questions on the excursions? I have one other. Oh, by the way, somebody asked about golf. And golf used to be listed as a shore excursion on Uniworld's website. It is not currently listed, but somebody asked yesterday. So Lisa called Uniworld and they will offer golf on board. There will be a fee for it. I think the reason they moved it from their website, I have previously escorted this cruise 4 times. It is obviously very popular in the military community. But anyway, no one signed up for golf on the first 3. On the last one couple signed up for golf, so they canceled it. That's one of the things with these Masterpiece Collection trips is they not only have a maximum number of people to go. So let's just use the sidecar again. They may have a dozen sidecars that they can have for this excursion, so that's a cap. But if only one or two people sign up for it, they will cancel the excursion. It says that in the information. So just kind of heads up on that. So
So,
if
John, if I may
yeah,
quickly jump in, Lisa is saying there are 72 members
okay,
of our group. Final documents are scheduled to be emailed to all of us this Friday to everyone who has completed their passenger information form. So please make sure you do that. A
yeah.
couple of questions. The electrical outlets for charging, what kind are those? And do you have any recommendations, John, for any of the various excursions? Is there any that you would say do that as opposed to others? But the caveat here is Laura then asks, is there any transportation available without a lot of walking or the tours that don't require a lot of walking for somebody that probably
Gotcha.
doesn't have that?
Okay. See if I can remember what those all was. I'm going to do the last one first because I remember that. Okay. One thing to note is on all of the excursions, they're going to have, they're like, they'll tell you you're on bus one, you're on bus two, whatever that is. If there's walking involved, there's always going to be a bus six, and bus six is for people who want to walk at a slower pace. So they actually give you the opportunity of if you say, you know, there's going to be a group and they're going to walk, regular speed or fast or whatever it is. So that is always an option if there is walking. Different tours have different amount of walkings, as I mentioned. Mount St. Michel, people rave about it. At the same time, complaining about how many steps there are. On board, the cruise director is going to be able to go through these in more detail. Personally, I don't want to, I wouldn't do any of the Masterpiece Collection tours, except maybe Moulin Rouge, which I think is pricey. But it's that last evening, that last Saturday night when we're on board, where they actually bus you in, they take it to you, you have dinner. It's an entire experience. A lot of people talk about that because you don't miss anything. But on all the other ones, you're going to be missing the complimentary excursions if you do whatchamacallit, one of the uh, Masterpiece Collection ones.
Yeah, Anne said she already booked the Moulin Rouge from an email that she received from Uniworld, and she's asking, should she have waited?
Uh, you have a $100 onboard credit. You don't want that to go to waste. They do have a shop on it. I can tell you, when I go on vacation, so I get the $100 onboard credit. Um, the two times I've gone with my family on the vacation, both times I've let my daughter use it to buy something from the gift shop, like earrings or a bracelet or something like that, because, I don't drink, so, the liquor is not anything. I didn't have anything dry cleaned. I didn't do any Masterpiece Collection. So at the end of the cruise, I still have 100. You'll hear me say this on the ship as well. Don't just use it. Get yourself a $30 teddy bear, for God's sakes, or something else from the gift shop. So if there's something else you're going to use that on, I mean, you can just let it go. If you're thinking, that would save me $100 and I may not spend that money on board, then we're still way outside the 5 day thing. I would call and cancel with Uniworld. And then as soon as you get on board, come and let me know that you want to do Moulin Rouge. And as I said, since I sit right next to the cruise director, I will put names on the list before she hands out the list. I mean, I will get a copy of the shore excursion kind of list so our people can sign up before she hands them out at the meeting. So,
Yeah, and maybe you'll cover this later, but I'm seeing the number of people asking about onboard staff and crew and tipping. And so Lisa's put in here, of course, that your fee that you paid to go on this cruise covers the crew, the staff, and the cruise and tour managers. Tips for local guides on shore excursions are generally not included, and it's customary to tip them separately if you choose to. And then some people do tip their onboard staff, especially your cabin steward or your butler, for exceptional service. Give them a little tip, especially on the front end of the week. You'll be amazed at not that it was bad service to begin with, but
yeah,
then if you call and you need that Diet Coke desperately,
there
like
you go.
me, you'll find a
Yeah.
Diet Coke probably in your room, in your cabin already.
You'll have a refrigerator and it will come kind of stocked where it's going to have like Sprite, two Coke, two Diet Coke, like two Beck beers, a sparkling water, they don't do a lot of plastic bottled water. Everyone's going to get a water bottle that you can keep. There are stations throughout the ship where you can fill that water bottle with ice cold to try saving all the plastic. Almost all the cruise lines do that now. But yeah, as far as tipping, everything's included on board the ship. So if you get off the ship, it, people always ask how much you tip. The cruise director is going to talk about this as well, but a couple of euros, depending on what it is. Obviously, the length of the excursion is going to matter. The day for the Normandy beaches is going to be like an 11-hour day. We have 5 different locations that we're going to go to in that area. And so you get up after breakfast, the bus leaves. So on that one, you might tip a little bit more since it's an 11-hour bus ride and 11-hour tour guide as compared to what you might do if it's a 3 or 4 hour one. Not required, but a lot of people will tip a few euros here or there. As far as the onboard staff, every time I go, people come up and ask me about tipping. The tips are included. And so unless somebody goes over and above, I don't know if you need to tip. But as Phyllis said, it works wonders. A lot of times people will find a waiter they like. It seems like they'll go the very first night, they think their waiter's excellent. So they sit in that waiter's section every single night, not realizing that all the waiters are excellent. But they'll end up having, the same waiter or the same sommelier or whatever. There's like 2 in the restaurant, but they'll have the same waiter every single night. So they'll sit there, oh, whoever did such a great job, they'll want to tip them a little something. In those cases, you just hand them money. If you go to the front desk, they can give you envelopes. If you want to do it in an envelope for your cabin steward, you can just leave it in the room. You probably want to do that in an envelope because if you just leave 20 euros on a tabletop, they won't know that it's for them unless you leave them a note. Any
Right.
other
So,
questions?
yeah, John, a couple here. Louise says, did I understand it's possible that we're not going to play golf unless there are enough people to participate? But it's not even one of the options. I mean, if you golfed, you'd do it on your very own, right?
No, we contacted Uniworld and they said they will talk about golf on the ship. They don't put it on the website because, sort of like I said, in the cases I went, there's not enough people do it. They're not going to have a bus take somebody from the ship to the golf course and then bring them back from the golf course to the ship if it's only one person golfing. What that minimum is, I don't know. We could find that out.
Looks
Um,
like right now I'm seeing maybe 4 people on here. So,
And we're
Louise
half the
also
ship,
said,
so if they had 8 people, they might do it. Lisa, can you make since she's on, Lisa, we don't need it right now, but so when I send the email out, can you contact Uniworld and ask what the minimum is on the golf? By the way, we asked for the pricing on the golf, and they must not do it with any great frequency because Lisa called and talked to our group person inside Uniworld, and he said he'd have to get the information and get back to us. So it's not
okay.
readily available. And as I
So
said,
Marianne asked, did John say we have $100 onboard credit per stateroom or per person?
100 euro per person on board credit.
Thank you. Regular power cord for charging phones and tablets.
You will have both US and EU outlets in your room. I think most rooms, unless you're going to get into a suite, where it's basically 2 rooms, most cabins are going to have 2 outlets or 3 maybe. I would bring, one of those splitters, where you put something in and you can
And it
plug
gives you
multiple things
multiples. Yeah.
into it. Yeah. Because most of us now, we're going to have a phone. When I'm there, I'm going to have my phone, I'm going to have my laptop, to plug in. So, yeah. But yeah,
Sandy
you
asked
do
about
not need an
lunch.
adapter, but if you bring one, you'll have more outlets you can use. How about that as an answer?
Sure.
And I think it's the UAC or whatever it is. Anyway,
The C version.
universal
Since
adapter.
no lunch, it says no lunch at Normandy, what's available? What's happening on the day we go to Normandy? It's an 11-hour excursion, you said. I guess they're wondering, when do we
Yes,
eat?
we are going to go into town. There's a museum we go to, which is the Airborne Museum. So they will drop you off at the Airborne Museum, and then you have free time to dine on your own.
Okay.
There will be, I'm sure there every year I've been. So I've been four times, but I went in 2019 and 2024. Both times we did two that year. But every time I've been, there's like a little festival in town. So they're gonna have street vendors. So you can get like a bratwurst or something like that. They have restaurants you can go into. You have time to shop or whatever. So yeah, I mean, you're leisurely on your own to get lunch.
Dorothy wrote, it says on day 4, let's go golfing. So does that mean no fee if there's enough interest?
Does it?
Or is the let's go golfing, which she saw on apparently on the brochure or something, information about day 4, let's go golfing. Um, is that or is that one of the upscale excursions where there's an extra cost?
I don't know.
Because Louise also said, I thought it was included on our itinerary as an option. Deborah says golf was on the website, that it was included.
I did not.
Anyway, we'll get a golf answer and we'll send that this evening. How many euros should they bring? And
Uh,
is there an exchange on the ship?
there is an exchange on the ship.
Okay,
Uh, my advice on that is the best exchange rate you're going to get is going to an ATM while you're in Paris. It's going to be better than you're going to get your bank before you go here. If you have an ATM card, you're going to get charged the ATM fee, of course, there with most banks. So, um, why is this?
a lot of people seemingly commenting about the golf. So
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe there were a lot that wanted to do. If nothing else, the picture that I remember seeing was stunning. It was right there, like on the
Oh,
shoreline, the cliffs. It was beautiful. And Amy asked, just so I understand, if we are eating on our own off the ship during a tour, we pay for that out of pocket, correct?
yes, everything off ship you pay for.
Okay.
Okay, it does say let's go golfing. So that lists it as a featured excursion, so that would be included.
Okay.
That's
Good,
crazy.
good.
When
So
Lisa called about it yesterday, they told her it was a masterpiece collection. So
well, they need to make sure it's on that because it would seem to me they would not have a problem filling out based on this, or if people are just
yeah,
simply chiming in to say I saw it, whether or not they're actually interested in golfing. How
yeah.
about hangers? Okay, but that's a different one. Where the mail was sorted in Rouen by 6888, I'll be working that piece a little bit more. Again, how much money should they bring for excursions and meals and things like that? What should they expect they might spend?
Well, everything on board, they're going to have your credit card information. They do it as part of pre-registration. They'll probably take it again when you get on board. So it's a cashless society on board. So anything you were to spend just goes onto your account, and then at the end of the cruise, you're going to get an invoice. It's going to show, it'll say $100 or so everything on board is euro. Sorry, I keep saying dollar. So it'll say onboard credit 100. So that's a positive, and then whatever you spend will be negatives. And at the end of the ship, you owe $36, 36 euros, they charge that to your credit card. So on board, everything's taken care of. Where we're going, um, everywhere you go is going to take credit cards. Even the little shops do, with maybe like the exception, if you go to like a street market kind of thing where, people are just have card tables set up and selling stuff like that. So it's tough to say what you should bring. I normally get like 100 euro, but I'm going to tell you that that 100 those 250 euro bills have been to Europe more than I'd like to say, because I take them over and I never use them, but I just always feel more comfortable if I have it. If something comes up, most everyone's going to take US dollars, but if you don't know, if you pay in US, you're going to get hurt in the exchange. You'll go up and they'll say it's 20 euros and you go US and they'll go like 30. and the exchange rate isn't anywhere near there. So I maybe 50 or so, you
And
can
you
get
know, the
paid.
thing is, there's an exchange on the ship, folks. So
There is an exchange on the ship.
if after one day out on an excursion, you're like, man, I wish I had carried more cash, or,
Yep.
like Amy just posted in Europe, they use Apple Pay a lot. So if
Yeah.
you're familiar with Apple Pay, great. Otherwise, go to the ship and take an extra €100 with you on your next excursion. It's not like one and done. You can always keep
Yeah.
adding, or you can cash it back in before you leave the ship at the end. Don't take that same hundred
Oh,
euros
I don't
back
think
and
they
forth.
cash it back in.
No, they'll only give it out.
I think they just go one way.
Okay.
If they did, because they're certainly not going to take coins or smaller bills. But
Sure, sure. But maybe the big
you know
ones.
what? If
But
you want to cash it back in, you let me know, and I'll see if I can convince
yeah.
them that we should do that. Okay.
Judy asks about, is there a dress code at dinner?
I dress codes right after weather.
Okay.
So there you go. Okay, so a lot of people ask about the weather, so I actually pulled this morning. This is the current weather projection for the entire month of June. Take it with a grain of salt because obviously we're still 5 weeks away or whatever it is. But the takeaway from here is you can anticipate that it's going to be typically a typical day is going to be high 60s and typical evenings is going to be low 50s. So you may want to have like a sweater or a light jacket or something like that in the evening. The AC works very well. Some people say it's cold in the dining room. Okay, so for attire, during the day, you can wear whatever you want. It's going to be warm. Most people are going to wear like shorts, whatever, but whatever. Breakfast, lunch, it's really kind of whatever you want, whatever's comfortable. You're going to want comfortable walking shoes, particularly if you're going to be doing a lot of walking on your excursion. They do say bring a light jacket. The buses they use, so you'll be on a Uniworld bus on these excursions if that is like if you're doing that kind of sightseeing. So you can bring a jacket, you can leave your stuff on the bus. Someone will be at the bus at all times. So let's say I'm going to do, like the monastery. And so I'm going to bring a jacket in case it rains. I can just leave it on the bus. And if it doesn't rain that afternoon, just, you can leave your bags on board or whatever like that. At dinner time, basically, they use terms like, resort casual, whatever it is. They're going to ask for no jeans and no shorts and no t-shirts at dinner. It is not enforced. So if you see someone in dinner wearing shorts and t-shirt, they're just not following the rules. I will typically wear a polo shirt and slacks for dinner. They do have a couple of evenings that are kind of a little bit more. They have the captain's welcome reception, where the captain and his staff greets everybody when you go into the lounge that evening. If you were going to dress up, that would probably be the night to do it. You're going to get pictures and stuff like that. A lot of times people want to look really nice for that. So on those evenings, I'm gonna wear slacks and a polo shirt and throw a jacket on. So really, it's really a laid back kind of dress code. I don't think most people would be wearing shorts and t-shirts to dinner anyway, so it feels a little funny even saying that. This, by the way, this section right here on attire is a screenshot from that booklet that you're going to get. What to know before you go. There's this section right here on attire if you want to read it. But honestly, just I'm not really sure what else to say about attire. It's pretty laid back. Phyllis, any questions on attire?
No, nothing more than that. I think that's helpful. Oh, wait. Dodie says, is the captain's dinner the first night and the farewell the last night, correct?
No. The captain's dinner is day 2, and the farewell reception is day 6. The reason for that would be the first night, there's a lot going on, and they have the safety drill and everything else. So they do not have anything well, they have the safety drill and all that, but that's not the captain's reception. It's obviously a really busy day for the crew as well. They have 128 people getting off the ship and 128 people getting on the ship. So that embarkation disembarkation are the busiest days on the ship. So night 2, they will have the captain's welcome reception. And then the last night of the cruise, we overnight in Paris, and they have events like the Moulin Rouge or people will want to go in town and stuff like that. So since not everyone will be on board that Saturday night, they do the farewell reception on Friday night. So, and as I said, that day itinerary, the captain's welcome and the captain's farewell are listed on that day-to-day itinerary. That will be, not only will it be in the know before you go, or excuse me, it's going to come with your documents. I'll send it in the email this evening as well. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to go that way. Anyway, I do want to go back. Now I got to figure out how to go back. Nope. Anyway, sorry about that, everybody.
At the bottom of your slide, bottom left, you've got some little arrows.
Okay. Okay, so this is important. First off, that is a picture of me on the Joie de Vie, so the ship you're going to be sailing at. If you're in a balcony stateroom, this is actually how those French balconies work. As you can kind of tell, this is a floor-to-ceiling glass window where the top half comes down and you can actually lean out over it, kind of like a balcony. So just a quick kind of side thing of what your balcony is going to look like if you've never had a French balcony before. Okay. I want everyone, I'm going to put it in the email as well. Everyone, please put my cell number in your phone. I'm on board the ship. The most common calls I get are going to be the day that everyone arrives in Paris. It's going to be, I can't find the transfer, my flight was delayed, whatever it may be. Just make sure you have my cell phone with you. Check with your carrier on long distance. A lot of times you can add and then remove at the end of this trip a package. I have Verizon. It's $10 a day for unlimited texting and 1 megabyte a day data. So it's $10 per 24-hour period. So very reasonable. I'm not saying you have to do it for the entirety of the trip, but it's good to have my number in case of an emergency. Everyone on the ship will have the ability to get a hold of me. So if you go to registration and have an issue, just so you know, they are notified to contact me of any issue unless you tell them not to. So if you go up and you have a medical issue, they're going to call me and say, Phyllis is down at the medical center. I just want to let you know she's there, and then I will go and meet Phyllis at the medical center. So if for some reason or other you didn't want me to show up, just let them know. But they can call me if something's amiss, so they can get a hold of me as well. You can also call cabin to cabin. Um, I everyone will have my cabin number. I prefer it if you text me or call me on my cell uh, in case I'm sleeping. But if it's an emergency, the ship can always get a hold of me, and you can call me on my stateroom. I put my email there as well. Most of you probably have that already from all the emails I've been sending you, but I'm going to repeat this again in the email. I just ask everybody to put my cell phone in your phone. Hopefully you never need it, but if you need it, it's going to be good that you already have it, and then you're not messing around trying to look it up and say, oh, how do I get a hold of John? So anyway, so that's an overview of the cruise.
Yep. Couple of questions again.
Yeah,
A
just
couple of people asked about a theme night or a special evening dress event. I think had we been able to book the entire ship, that would have been much easier to do, but we only have just about half of the ship, so that was kind of one of the problems. Amy asked
oh, we,
about
we
a
could do
cell.
our own theme night and just not tell the other half the ship.
They'll wonder what the heck. Well,
No,
that it
there
is
is a theme
possible.
night. There is a theme night. So it is Uniworld's 50th anniversary. So whereas last year they did Dressed in Black and White, which is kind of the theme they did last year. The year before that, it was 70s disco. But since it's their 50th golden anniversary, one evening is going to be dressed in gold. So they're going to ask everybody to dress in gold. And so if you want to, it's always fun when people participate. It ends up with some great pictures. And one thing I'm going to say about pictures is I am going to be going around taking pictures at dinner, during different events and those types of things. And then I'm going to share those photos with everyone. It will be when I get back. So I'll probably do it through Flickr where I upload the pictures and then I give you access to it and then you can download pictures. We will do a group photo. We almost always do it up on the top deck. someone from the myself or someone on the crew will take a picture. So we'll let everybody know when we're on board. These the onboard events, um, I know everyone likes to plan stuff in advance, but the onboard events are better to plan when you're on the ship because then you're talking to the people that kind of know what they've got going on because they have, drills and stuff like they do. And we don't want to, conflict with that. But one day we will have everybody probably like before dinner go up on deck and we'll take a group photo. So that'll share as well if you want to download that. So yeah, you'll see me, and I'll talk about this when I'm talking on the ship as well, but you'll see me wandering around taking pictures, morning, noon, and night. And yes, telling you in advance, you will, I will send those pictures to you. So, but I
Okay,
just put them up on picture, huh?
Wi-Fi is free on the ship, just so
Yes,
everybody knows that again. Judy asked, is there medical support on board? She's a nurse, so she's going to ask. Um, and then wondered, John, do you use WhatsApp?
I do have WhatsApp.
Okay, yeah, there are a
That
couple
that's
of
where I
people.
have all of my contacts from Uniworld.
Yeah,
So
exactly, right?
I always put the cruise director and the hotel director and everything in my phone for the sailing that I'm on. Yes, I do use WhatsApp.
Okay, that looks like that's all of the major
My thing
questions.
with
So,
WhatsApp though is I don't check it ever. I'll check it the 7 days I'm on the ship, and then if you send me a WhatsApp after we get back to the States, I probably won't see it till I escort my next group because I don't have any friends or family on WhatsApp. I just have like work kind of things.
got it. Okay. And then Jan, and I'm glad Jan asked that because I was thinking the same thing. Yes, we can absolutely use Photo Circle to share our photos. So
Okay.
we'll share that across the group,
Okay.
and just keep pulling everybody in to invite that. And so all of your photos, your best photos, please not all, your
Yeah.
best photos of the trip, please add them into this Photo Circle. So it
Okay.
will make an incredible album. And so if I don't go on a particular excursion, but you took a great photo, because I like doors and alleyways and things like that. So if you're that kind of photographer, I'm going to pull your photo down and use it. So yeah, we can definitely use Photo Circle. But John, thank you so much for what you're doing. Oh, more. I'm going to the Channel for travel to London following our cruise. Would it be better for her to go to the airport or leave from the ship? I have no idea. Dorothy wants to know, is it
I'd have to
easy?
research that because you're probably going to want to leave from one of the main train stations in Paris. Um, I would probably just for the convenience sake of it, you're downtown. One of the main train stations is downtown. Um, it's probably less expensive just to take an Uber or a cab to the train station downtown Paris instead of going to the airport, which is well, depending on traffic, about 45 minutes to an hour away. I think if you went all the way out to the airport, there might be a train station at the airport as well, but that's going to take you probably downtown and then to London. So I would just do it from the ship. But you know what?
Okay.
I mean,
A lot of questions are coming in now.
yeah.
Is it easy to locate the group bus at the airport? And speak to that one more time about
Yeah,
once you land and get your
when you
suitcases.
get your documents and I mean, Lisa said that Uniworld says they're going to send them to us on Friday. They are not always on time, so don't freak out if you don't get them on Friday. And then the other thing is we check them all before we send them out, and they do make mistakes from time to time. So I would say, plan on receiving your documents next week. In the documents, if you have the complimentary transfers, they will be included in the documents, like right up front of the documents. You can't miss it. It will tell you where and when to meet the group. So there will be someone with the Uniworld sign that's going to be somewhere in the airport. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to say it because then people will say, I thought you said we were meeting here. But we'll say Terminal 1 here or Terminal 2 there or whatever it is where you're going to meet. So you'll go there, you'll see somebody with Uniworld sign. Once everyone in your group is there, they will walk that group out to the bus. So you will be met inside the airport. So you get off the plane, you get your luggage, you obviously go through, immigration and all that other kind of stuff. And then you enter the main terminal, you go to the meeting place, depending on how long it is. You may have an hour or longer you want to stop and do something. But anyway, so the time and place where you meet there. You'll see somebody with a Uniworld sign, and then they walk you out to the bus. So,
Question, what's the chance of a room upgrade?
uh, well, here's the thing. So, Uniworld is doing the thing now that a lot of the cruise lines have switched to. So they have a bid process. So the ship is currently sold out because we had somebody ask about joining. We contacted the ship. So all the cabins are full. But if someone no shows, which happens every cruise, some reason or other, somebody's flight issue or something happens, they don't show it. You in advance, you put a bid in. And so let's say I'm in a French balcony room and I want to do a suite. I'll put a bid in and I say I'll pay 500 per person to upgrade to a suite if one opens up. If one opens up, whoever has the highest bid gets it. So since they have a bidding system in place, even people that come in and say, their past passenger program is called the Heritage Club, and it's like, I've been on Uniworld, 20 times. I should get an upgrade if one comes available. Since they have people bidding for that, and a lot of times, by the way, on that bidding stuff, you're not going to find out you're upgraded till you get to the ship. But anyway, since they have the bidding process, it's very rare to have staterooms open up and not have somebody I've already paid to upgrade. So a
Okay.
complimentary upgrade on board, I would say, is extremely unlikely.
Okay. Medical support. Judy's pushing.
So
What's the medical support on the ship?
if there's a medical emergency, there is not a doctor on board. They will have someone who can do basic first aid. I have had this happen twice on river cruises I was on. You are never that far from shore. If there's a medical situation, they will pull the ship over and get you to a medical facility if needed. So they don't treat you on board. So just kind of think of it as like, I don't want to say I don't know enough about it. I was going to say triage nurse, but it's probably not the right way to describe it. So there is someone who can provide first aid on board, but for medical situations, they will get you to a medical center. And so they will pull over at the first possible place they can pull over. An ambulance will be called, and the ship will actually stay docked until the ambulance arrives and takes that patient away. So,
Okay. Question. Mike
and that's
says
all
that
river cruises, by the way. None of them have doctors on.
Mike is arriving early on Friday the 12th and staying at the Paris Opera Hilton area. Wondered if there's any off-tourist restaurant recommendations to go to. I would suggest in this one, Mike, maybe just ping Lisa and John and let them see what they can find out. Deborah says,
I'm
what
gonna
is
I'm gonna
photo
tell you my
circle?
advice on this, Paris in particular. Not knowing exactly where your hotel is located, I would go to the concierge. Uh, in big cities in Europe, particularly Paris in particular, I have never had a bad experience with a concierge. If you tell them what kind of food you want, and I want walking distance or whatever, a lot of times they'll even have menus so you can see the menu before you go. Is going to be your best bet instead of me saying, well, when I stayed at the Meridian Hotel, and so I'm a big proponent of walking Paris. So I walk to restaurants in that area. I certainly didn't, take a cab in town to go to someplace else. So I don't think Lisa or I would have restaurant recommendations. I would 100% talk to your concierge at your hotel because they'll know all of the restaurants that are within walking distance and everything else.
Deborah, we saw you asked, what is photo circle? We'll explain that once we're on the ship. It's super easy. In the meantime, feel free to take any pictures you want leading up to. It'll probably be day 2 or 3 that we're on the ship that we kind of all come together for the first Military Women's Memorial cohort. John is working to give us a private venue space that we can do several meetings in. It holds about 50 people. Typically, not all of us are going to show up at the same time, but we can do that and catch up a little bit on that. Would it be possible to do the Parisian Gourmet Tour and the Latin Quarter Tour? That's one of those last days, John, to do both the Parisian Gourmet Tour and the Latin Quarter Tour. I don't know if they
I don't
overlap.
know. I think that's almost going to be something you're going to have to find out when you get on board because they contract third party companies for one of those, and then the local guides. As I said, I mean, all of these can be booked on board. They would be able to tell you if you could do them both.
Donna Perry is bragging, and I don't blame her. She says she got a room upgrade last week. She just paid a bit more. Um, Joyce asks, she says, we'll be coming into Paris the day before and independently going to the ship. Where should we tell the taxi to go? I had shared that with a couple other people, and I can drop it in the box here shortly. We
I'll
get
put
back.
the address for the ship in the email I send tonight. It's obviously going to be pretty long. Also, the address where the ship is going to be in the documents that you're going to receive next week. And so you'll have it like a hard copy of it in the documents as
I just
well.
answered her on that one too, though, because Lisa had put it in there.
Okay.
So if anybody has any burning questions, pop them in the Q&A quickly before we let John go. Otherwise, you'll get the email later tonight that hopefully will answer any other questions, but also give you this to review again. And you'll get more documents in the next week, which please read through all of those. Make sure we understand our transfers because they always confuse me. I'm just saying it just does. But we,
Yeah, I
we
got it.
are planning on doing some special call outs about the women of the 6888, the women of the Hello Girls of World War One, and some other cool things that have to do with American military history. It is America 250 after all. So we're just
Yeah.
going to have a grand time that week. But it's really hard to get all 72 of us together and have much by way of a meeting. It'd be more of a presentation at that point, right? So small cohorts we can break out and have a lot of fun along the way. And remember, it's vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Okay. Says Joyce says the map would be great, so they'll be sending that to you. Um, the address on YouTube to look for. I'm not sure what you mean, Pamela, about the address on YouTube. He's
Oh,
going to
because I
send
said
a
I'm gonna send everybody the link to YouTube. I will not know what that link address is until we go into YouTube and it's like create a new video. So when we upload it, we get an address. It'll be like, if you've seen them, youtube.com/ letters, digits, whatever. But the link to it will be in the email. That's the main purpose of sending the email tonight is because not everybody was on this or could join us live on this presentation. So that'll be that. And then all the ancillary information will be below that. But yeah, you need to download it from Zoom and then upload it to YouTube. 2 hours at least, probably a little bit longer than that because there's a lot of information I got to put together for the email, but it will go out this evening. So
Well, everybody, thank you so much for taking
yeah.
the time. We had 38 participants today, and then you'll be receiving this. If we missed a question, it's all on me. I am sorry. I was trying to
No.
scroll. You guys were asking a lot of great questions. I didn't want to miss anybody, but we're really looking forward to this. Please know that we are so excited. And John's going to walk us through this. It's our first foray doing this. And if it's something that we decide we'd like to do again, I'd love to get your feedback on that while we're on the ship for a lovely 8 days. So without that, John, I hand it back to you. Thanks.
Yeah, Phyllis, thank you for joining me. You were a huge help. I also am very excited about this group. You guys are going to love Uniworld. You're going to love the itinerary. It's going to be a fantastic time. I love that we've got 70 people in our group. It's going to be a great size group. If half the ship is walking around with our military women's memorial lanyards on, don't be surprised if people aren't coming up to you and asking you about the group because it's just a natural thing when they say all like, what is it? They'll come up to my desk and say, people come up and ask me questions like I work for Uniworld. Since I got a desk in the lobby. But anyway, no, people go, so
Well, John,
what
before
exactly
you let
is it?
them go, share what's happening about this time next year that we have planned. Our Colette trip.
Yeah. I didn't have a slide on that. Did you want to tell them about
No, did you want to
California?
just tease it?
It will be a land tour of California, LA, San Diego. It's kind of a combination of a little of everything, some winery, some national park.
The
I it,
Sequoias,
yeah,
San Diego, yeah, a little bit of everything, and Hearst Castle if you so choose. So it's a week-long trip,
yeah,
late May into early June next year. Far less expensive, but still kid glove treatment. Everything that you get is really top shelf.
We did, so it's through Colette Tours or Colette Vacations. We did Colette Vacations last year for the islands of New England. And so we had a group on that. Everyone raves about the job that Colette does. It is an escorted bus tour. So you'll be at a hotel, a couple of nights in LA, and then the bus takes you to San Diego. But during the day, you have excursions that are included, sort of like this. Not as many choices. Most days just have it, but literally all the touring, all the sightseeing, everything's included. So like the Sequoias, you get up in the morning, the bus takes you there and then brings you back to the hotel. So yeah, we'll have more information on that.
We'll
All
have
right.
information on the cruise.
Yes, exactly. We'll have an opportunity. We'll make time to talk about next year's trip while we're on board. So, okay. Well, thanks everyone. As Phyllis said, any questions, just give us a call. You've all worked with Lisa. She does an excellent job. For those who didn't know, Lisa's my sister. But anyway, just get a hold of Lisa. She can find out anything. If we don't know the answer, we call Uniworld and we can get the answer for you. But everyone should just relax. As I said, we're going to schedule everything. We're on board. Just wear whatever you want that's comfortable. Just get on board. Be open to meeting new people because that's one of the great things about our group is the camaraderie of all of you being together. And just plan on having like the best vacation ever because it's going to be fantastic.
And I will be sending out emails, couple of reminders, making sure that every woman, military woman, past or present, that is on this trip with us, that her story is registered here at the Military Women's Memorial because I intend to bring your story card with me to share and show. So when people hit you up about, hey, what is this place that you speak of that's this Military Women's Memorial, you can show your own story card. We'll also have more information and some short documentaries about the Hello Girls, the 6888, and some additional information about women that have served in France, American women that have served in France over the last 100+ years. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. I will see everyone when you board the Joie de Vie in Paris. Until then, everyone have a great week.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.